My youngest, we do spend time together. I ended up leaving the shelter, and I wished I had never gone back there. I could go back, but no, I'm.
You'd rather be in the woods? What's going to happen in the bad weather?
I'd like to be in my own home.
Yeah.
I guess that's something I have to face when winter gets here.
Right.
I'm hoping I have a home. But it's rough. I'm hoping to have a home before winter.
Homelessness severely affects the health and well-being of an individual, as can be seen by the high rate of acute health problems among the homeless.
I can't do it. I can't do it. My esteem is so low from being homeless, not being able to do the work. 'Cause I worked for Brochu Landscaping, like 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
I worked 16 years with Bob Carey doing landscaping. Always worked hard all my life. Now my joints, my hips, everything hurts me.
Mm.
And
How old are you?
I just can't do that full work anymore.
Aren't you like in your 30s or something?
I'm 50.
50.
Insurance is very expensive. And increasingly, employers have been cutting that or not offering it at all. Many of the retail and service sector industries will work people at not quite full time, and then they don't feel an obligation to provide health insurance. So obviously, if somebody has even just a relatively minor incident where they need to visit the emergency room and the doctor a couple of times, that and they're living paycheck to paycheck, that $1,000 just isn't there.
New Hampshire is one of, I guess, more and more states now that have gone through and participate in this Policy Academy program, which is really a collaboration among a number of agencies. And the focus in New Hampshire is on ensuring that persons who are chronically homeless can access mainstream services like mental health care, substance abuse services, medical care, and so forth. So
how do you explain 17 facilities being shut down last year?
substance abuse?
Yeah. But how does that match up?
Well, it doesn't.
How do you think the governor's proposed budget cuts are going to affect your department and your ability to deliver services if it's actually passed?
It'll affect us in this way. My goal is to prevent these services from being hindered. My goal is to become as efficient as possible.
The Commissioner of Health and Human Services gave us a great gift. He said that rather than nickeling and diming things, they would be sort of line item cuts, and it was like drowning some puppies in a litter to preserve the health of the rest of the litter.
And I believe most people feel that they are their brother's keeper. Most people believe that. And I know some people feel that folks don't care. And I don't see that. Maybe I'm seeing the world through different glasses. But I don't believe that. And I know there are callous folks out there, but I believe most people, by and large, do care.
It's a mixture of lack of compassion and a lack of sense of community. That these are our brothers and sisters, and I don't want harm to come to them.
You're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Greg.
Hey, Howie. Hey,
Hi.
Big fan. Listen, I've got a little bit of compassion for the bums in this sense. I lived in New York City for a little while, and a large majority of them are mentally ill and can't care for themselves on the street. Some are just flat-out drunks.
Yes.
It's a different category. But a large percentage of them are mentally ill. And, my heart goes out to those guys who physically can't take care of themselves on the street, and the liberals demand that they have rights and that they be on the streets, and we can't lock them up,
Right.
involuntarily. But it's sad on the street to see them talking to themselves, and they can't cope. They don't have sanitary. The they're just lost souls
Yeah, but
out
it's
there.
sad. It's sad for me and you to have to navigate our footsteps on the street corner because we never know when we're going to step in one of these piles. You know, I mean.
Communities are diverting resources from solutions to homelessness toward criminalization. The systematic abuse of the civil rights of the homeless is a strategy used by local governments and private business districts to hide the homeless from our view. Every day, access to public spaces for people experiencing homelessness is being restricted, while at the same time, 100% of our communities lack enough shelter beds to meet current demand.
No one, or very few people, think it a positive image for their town or their city to have obviously homeless people visible. I think there's an appropriate shame with that. There's a sort of, on some level, there's a sense that something's not right. This isn't good, and it's embarrassing that these folks are there. This doesn't reflect well on my city. That doesn't translate necessarily to the political will to do the things that are necessary to take care of those people. What it generally translates into is hide them.
Where did you sleep last night?
I slept right over here in
In that little
bus stop.
bus stop?
Yeah.
Targeting certain people.
Yeah, it's not like they're walking around taking pictures of
I mean, it's
moms
not
and
like
babies
you're a
at the
criminal,
bus station.
but they consider you a criminal.
It's not a good
It's
image.
because Manchester is getting built up. You got your first thing came along with Singer Park, drew in the people. Then you get the Verizon, which is drawing in more people. So they don't want these out-of-staters or out-of-towners seeing the homeless. So they're getting rid of the homeless. Now, once you get the ballpark in, it's even going to be worse. There are people out there that you don't even know that are out there.
Right.
Because they don't want to be seen.
Right.
They're
This
afraid
site-
to.
Well, this site, nobody would know.
But you can tell when they have soup kitchen,
Yeah.
or when Cindy gives out food, they come out of the woodwork. Other than that, you don't even see them because they don't want to get harassed.
Is there a lot of harassment down there?
Oh yeah.
What happened?
Oh, the police harass you. One day they'll say it's all right to sleep here. A couple days later, another cop comes and gives you a ticket.
I got this ticket here from the Manchester Police Department, a $50 fine for sleeping underneath the bus stop over there by the Holiday Inn. I guess, that's about it. He told me to leave and don't sit over here and don't sit over there and go downtown by the city hall. He said you can sit up but don't lay down. What else can I do?
Right now there are, two people left out here that live. We say to hell with the no trespassing signs. I don't know. Where does a person go when they have no finances, no anything to get out of this?
How'd it go in court?
Well, I went to court, and what they did was good. Judge Champagne was presiding, and they gave me they dropped the ticket and gave me a year. In other words, out here, if they catch me, they can add that ticket onto another ticket. So I pleaded guilty. I did plead guilty to the charges.
I want to extend Commissioner Vales's regrets for not being able to be here today. He had planned on coming up until just the last few days, but his schedule just didn't permit him to come and join you today. He has only been in the department now since January, and I think clearly he has made his mark. And one aspect of his personality that struck those of us in the management team, and I think those in the legislature and in the communities, very quickly was that this is a man of great passion.
You don't recognize me.
No.
The homelessness,
Oh my God, yeah, I don't know how I do. This is out of context. What the hell are you doing here?
The first week on the job for the commissioner, the temperatures dropped to near record levels in the state. You'll all remember we had 2, 3, 4 weeks of well below 10 below. It was 20 below and 30 below, and it didn't warm up much above 0. It was dangerously cold. And the first time I had a chance to meet with him alone, and as I was describing what the Division of Behavioral Health is responsible for, I mentioned homeless and housing. I said, homeless and housing, what does that have to do with mental health? I said, well, and explained that, what the history was. He said, what's going on? It's so cold out there. Does everybody who needs a place to stay have a place to stay? And I didn't have an answer. I said, I'll find out. And Lance and I, Martha Young and others, work with you to assure that we, in fact, anybody who came in looking for a bed had a place to stay. And we succeeded as best we know in doing that. We had people in motels, we had people in hallways, but the fact was we were able to house everybody who sought shelter.
The sad statistic is that there were over 13,000 that were turned away because the shelters were full.
And daily, I had to report to the commissioner what the status was of the shelter. So when you had Lance and Martha calling you and saying, okay, what happened last night? It was so that I could report to the commissioner, who took a great interest in this. And I think it really does speak to his passion for folks who are very vulnerable.
You know, they were just upset that you didn't make the conference because you were at the practice. You know, so it's all right. You know, I was wondering if you had any comment about that.
What do you mean?
The fact that you didn't go to the conference, but you were at the football practice.
We had some at the conference, though.
Well, you had other people.
I'm informed about it. I mean, it's not like I haven't lost my compassion for the homelessness.
I understand.
I'm here. This is why, this is one great way of keeping people,
No doubt about it. Sports
Well,
are
volunteer
terrific.
work for me.
It's a
This is-
terrific activity. All right, as
This
far
is
as
God's work in my eyes.
And so what is society's obligation?
Everyone who is watching a film like you're making presumably watches because they care about the issue. And I still believe, and especially in a place like New Hampshire, there's slightly over 1 million of us. You don't have to go to Congress, although I wouldn't mind that either. But if you simply care about the issue and talk to your local representatives about it, make your voice heard.
People can get involved by volunteering in local communities. Each community in New Hampshire has continuums of care. There are 3 of them. There are many volunteer opportunities to get involved in agencies that work with the homeless. There are opportunities to advocate for and get involved with legislation that affects not only homelessness but affordable housing. And I think those are some immediate ways. In addition to that, I would encourage anyone to go to a website called endhomelessness.org and learn about the whole issue, learn about how it's possible to plan. There's a nice summary there about how we can sort of reorganize the system to some degree and how it will take some additional resources, but there are realistic, achievable solutions that we can all take as communities toward ending homelessness.